Okay, let's dive into this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here with me today because we're tackling something uniquely fascinating. We're going to take some incredibly profound, ancient astrological insights and, well, translate them directly into a grounded, daily routine that you can actually use. You know, if you've ever felt this strange disconnect between the money in your bank account and the actual peace in your heart, this explainer is built exactly for you. Today, we're exploring the deep lessons of one very specific astrological placement together. And more importantly, we're turning those cosmic lessons into a totally practical guide for material peace.
Consider this profound truth right from our source material. Material success alone cannot create lasting emotional fulfillment. I really want you to let that sink in for a moment. As we step into our analysis today, I'm going to walk alongside you as a spiritual mentor. Society is constantly telling us, right? Just get the right job, buy the right house, hit that magic number in your savings, and boom, you'll finally feel safe and fulfilled. But for some people, that equation just doesn't work, like at all. So we're going to examine that deep, often super confusing emotional disconnect that happens when external wealth completely fails to nourish the soul. And, crucially, how we can actually heal it.
To really understand this, we have to look at the astrological blueprint behind it. At the absolute center of this disconnect is a placement known as Ketu in the second house. According to our sources, this is a placement that inherently creates detachment, sometimes confusion, and these massive spiritual lessons specifically around money, speech, family, and self-worth. Individuals with this placement often feel entirely emotionally disconnected from material security very early on in life. And here's the real kicker. This feeling of isolation, it can happen even when immense financial success is sitting right there in front of them. It's exactly like arriving at the finish line of the rat race, looking at the grand prize and feeling absolutely nothing.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the intense cosmic tension it creates. It's like a giant tug of war. On one side, you have the second house. In astrology, this represents literally everything that makes us feel secure in the physical world. It's our wealth, our possessions, our family, our speech, and yep, even the food we eat. It demands stability, period. But on the other side, you have Ketu. Ketu represents past life patterns, total detachment, isolation, this profound inner emptiness, and deep spiritual insight. So when you drop Ketu inside the second house, you're essentially asking a force of ultimate spiritual detachment to manage your physical bank account and your family dinners. No wonder it creates people who constantly struggle to balance the physical world's demand for stability with the soul's urge to just shed all that baggage.
So what does this all mean for you on a Tuesday morning? How do we stop fighting this tension and actually start using it to our advantage? Well, we're going to build a bridge between this intense spiritual need and the gritty reality of living in a material world. And honestly, it all starts the moment you wake up. I want to invite you to adopt a specific daily morning reflection. Think of it as a literal guide for the soul that you can practice before you even think about checking your phone or looking at your bank balance.
Here is exactly what that morning reflection looks like, step by step. Step 1, assess your inner worth independently, because this placement can make self-worth feel incredibly unstable early in life. Especially when external validation feels kind of meaningless, you've got to wake up and define your value before the world tries to do it for you. Acknowledge your worth entirely separate from your career or your income. Step 2, eat with spiritual mindfulness. Our sources note that the second house rules food, so this placement can actually cause food habits to become irregular, restrictive, or tied to your moods. Counter this. Make your morning meal a grounded, spiritually mindful practice. Feel the gratitude for the nourishment. And step 3, speak with quiet insight. The second house also rules speech, and Ketu can make your words either super blunt or unusually quiet. So, set an intention each morning to let your words be driven by deep spiritual insight rather than just reactive emotion.
Let's move to and see how this builds into the rest of your day. Specifically, when you actually open your wallet. The source material reveals a natural attraction towards spirituality, minimalism, research, and healing over traditional material ambitions. So your spending routine should totally reflect that. First, consciously embrace minimalism. You simply don't need 20 pairs of shoes when 3 serve your journey just fine. Second, prioritize spending on inner healing. Buy books, courses, or experiences that grow your soul rather than just cluttering up your closet. And third, this is absolutely crucial, detach your emotions from your purchases. Buying something shouldn't be the highlight of your day, but it shouldn't be a source of guilt either. By leaning into Ketu's natural mysticism instead of just accumulating stuff, this detachment actively helps you build long-term emotional stability.
But of course, we've got to address the elephant in the room. As a spiritual mentor exploring this with you, I hear this question all the time. How do we find peace when our income is totally unpredictable? Our source specifically calls out that this placement often brings sudden financial instability or really unusual income patterns. And let's be real, that creates intense, real-world lessons around attachment. It is incredibly challenging to stay zen when you literally don't know what next month's paycheck's going to look like.
So the crucial point is, the answer lies in one number, 0. That is the exact amount of emotional attachment you should have to your bank balance on any given day. To manage these unpredictable income patterns, you have to develop the daily habit of creating a spiritual buffer. When your income fluctuates wildly, your inner peace has to remain at absolute zero variance. You practice the habit of telling yourself, okay, my bank account is experiencing a fluctuation, but my soul? Completely secure. You start observing the financial numbers going up or down, kind of like you're watching the weather. They might affect what coat you wear that day, but they absolutely do not change who you are.
And this brings us to a very specific daily challenge. Our sources offer this incredibly powerful insight. The sudden urge to buy often masks our karmic distance from family and deep inner emptiness. You see, relationships with family under this placement can feel distant, karmic, and honestly, just emotionally confusing. And what do we do when we feel that distance? We try to fill the void. Think of a typical daily material desire, like that sudden, intense urge for retail therapy. You just had a tough conversation with a family member, you feel that karmic distance, and next thing you know, you're scrolling through an online store, filling a cart with things you absolutely do not need. That urge to buy is literally just a mask for the inner emptiness that Ketu is actually asking you to sit with and heal.
And this brilliantly illustrates how we can put this into practice in real time. Let's walk through a real-life scenario of releasing material stress. Minute 1, your refrigerator suddenly breaks down, or your car needs an expensive repair. An unexpected expense hits. Minute 5, the totally natural human urge to panic over your security sets in. You feel that anxiety rising right in your chest. But here is where you change the pattern. Minute 10, you actively apply Ketu detachment. You pause. You take a breath. You remember that your true security is not tied to that broken appliance or your checking account. You consciously separate the logistical problem from your emotional state. Minute 15, you find peace in your inner value. You realize, hey, I'm entirely capable of handling the logistics of this repair, but I absolutely refuse to let it rob my soul of its peace. Boom, you've successfully detached.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to remind you of what our source material says about the ultimate goal here. With maturity, this specific placement creates immense, profound spiritual wisdom. It creates deep emotional independence and this beautiful, detached clarity around wealth. The goal isn't to be poor, and it's not to hate money. The goal is the ultimate ability to separate your true inner value from your material identity. So, as you step away from this explainer and back into your daily routine, I want to leave you with this final provocative question to carry with you. Who are you? Who are you truly when you separate your true inner value from your material identity? Take that right into your morning reflection tomorrow. Keep learning, keep reflecting, and I'll see you next time.